In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how we add a simple hinge or spine into the journal book to give you the turning pages. So you can see here we've got all the pages that turn and the book closes with the living hinge on the side. I want to show you another way around this, or what can be done with this technique. So this is one of Leslie Lakin's beautiful samples, but by putting the spine in, you can add these sort of pages. So we've got the most beautiful decorated pages on either side with fold out sections, and they've all been added with the same spine system. So once you actually get the handle of the spine, you can add all these different little sections, and there are so many videos out on YouTube by lots of different people making journal books showing you all the different pages. But today I just want to show you how we actually add the spine in. So I'm going to move that way away to one side, and I'm going to bring in the basic cover that we made in the first video demonstration. So the first video shows you how we actually use the new Presscut dies to make this beautiful living hinge book. But what we want to do is to add a spine into here so that we can add some pages or some dividers or things like that. So what I've done is taken a piece of normal card. This is 300 GSM, and I've cut this down slightly short. So this has been cut to 7 3/4 inches, and I've simply scored this using my scoreboard. So it's simply a case of taking your standard scoreboard from whichever company you use, taking a piece of card, and we simply score at every 1/4 inch. So we go down every 1/4 inch. If you use metric, sorry, every 1/2 inch. So if you are metric measurements, you would use every centimetre, but we're using every 1/2 inch, which just literally gives us a score like this. So I've scored this piece of card or paper already, and all I'm going to do is start by folding. So I'm going to fold the first one over to give us a valley fold. I'm going to send the next one as a mountain. We then go again for a valley, and that gives us our first spine section. We're then going to effectively take the next one and again fold up, giving us a sort of second valley. We're then going to fold the next one as a mountain, next one as a valley fold, and we're going to fold the next one over again as a valley fold. So what we're effectively doing is we're creating a piece that stands up, a piece that stands up with a gap in between, which is what would take all of the things you put on the pages. So we can continue to do that until we have them all folded. So it's the same process all the way along. We are simply folding a little valley. So I folded that one. That piece is up there, so we're folding the valley fold. And then we're folding ourselves another mountain. Valley, valley. And when I say valley, it's a standard term. We're actually meaning a fold to create like a sort of a valley as opposed to an upright. We'll fold this one into a mountain, and we'll fold the last one back. So what I have then is a series pull together that give us these flat sections with the pieces that stick out from them. You can use a wet glue, you can use tape, whatever you like to adhere these together. I'm just going to do one of them, and I'm simply going to run a piece of power tape along. So I'm using a strong tape. I would suggest, because this is a spine, using a power tape or a red line tape, an extra strong tape. We fold that down. You can see there we have our little section for our page to go on. I'll do one more. So obviously we have a flat section. Simply going to run tape along the next section for the spine, and we're going to cut that down. We're then going to simply add some tape, fold that panel down, and you can see there we're starting to get the little raised section. And you would add as many of these as you want pages. I tend to add 5 or 6 in, and here's a piece I've already put together and glued. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. Flat section either side and flat sections inside. So to attach this into my book, I'm going to add, again, a strong tape. I'm using a power tape, but you can use red line tape, or you can use glue, but you would obviously need to clip that in for it to dry along both of these flat sections. I don't glue these pieces in. You can do if you want to, so that they follow the spine. It depends on how much weight you're putting into the book. So we're just going to reveal our tape, and I find it a lot easier to reveal both on both sides. And we're simply going to bring our book in, and you can see when you put it down flat exactly how it will stick in or how it will adhere in. So I'm just going to put it in the right place, and I'm going to put that tape down. And again, if you want to then start to decorate this a little bit more, you want to cover things over, you could take a little piece of ribbon and cover that over, cut more of the paper. But all I'm going to do is add a little bit of ribbon just to clean that line and make it look nice. So I'm putting tape on the end. Again, I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And how you decorate it and all the sections that you add are entirely up to you. But this is the fun bit. The maths and working out is the intricate bit. After that, the fun is decorating this and adding the pages in. So we're just going to, again, reveal the tape. And I'm simply going to take a piece of matching ribbon that matches in, and butt that up, cut it down, and I'm just going to trim that off. And again, you could take some time neatening it, sort of melting that little edge. There's lots of different ways you can do this. I'm just going to add that in, and again trim it off so that I've got a really nice, neat, covered spine. So now I have my spine inside, and it can go outwards or inwards. It depends entirely on what pages you're putting on. But all I'm going to do is fold all my spines now down, because I'm going to add some sort of dividers and pages that I've already cut. So I've used the other sections within Living Hinge die to cut 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So I've got myself 4 nice pieces to go into there. And I've just trimmed them off, double-sided, and edged them on the end. So I'm simply going to add a little bit of tape onto the back of each piece of that. And I've already started to decorate some of these. This one here, as we can see, has notes written on it, giving me a place to put notes on. So we're just going, it's the back we're doing. Make sure I get this right. And there's so many different ways to stick these in and to decorate them. You can decorate the pages afterwards, before. It's so genuinely easy to do. To get these staged, I've cut each succeeding panel 1/2 inch shorter. So we'd say 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5. So I get an even space in between. So simply take off, protective, marry that to the spine, and glue down. And there we've got our first beautiful page in. Again, take the next one, and you can add another strip of card, a piece of ribbon to cover over that white section there. So we're just going to, again, pop this in. Best to show you the right way to do it. Pop it in against the spine, press it down, and then press my spine down. So I've put this in. I probably glued this the wrong way around. I have completely. So it just gives me a little bit of time. So put it in. So we all make mistakes. It'll take a little while to get used to, but I'd rather show you. You can see there we're starting to get 2 pages. We can decorate that if we want to. I'll take the third one out, and again this goes onto the front just like that there. Once I'm happy, press it down, fold it the other way, so we now have 3 pages. I'm going to take the fourth one, so again pop it into place, take it down to it, give it a press. So when we open our book, we've almost got them flat, but we've got each individual page. I'm going to finish off the last page by using a whole panel piece. So exactly the same again. Run the tape along the back, trim that down, and you see here we haven't, this doesn't match in, doesn't have the blue edging. So I want to show you how we would actually put the blue edging in. So I'll just bring a piece of scrap paper in for speed. I was using a little bit of the Craft Artist quick dry inks and just edging around, dragging it down just to add a little bit of aging to it and make it look less raw. It really does make a difference adding that little bit of ink, and it helps if you've used a grey board because it will cover and colour that. So I would do the reverse the same. We're just going to add this into our book now. So again, bring our book back. We're going to take our adhesive off, and we're going to add our final page in. The reason I wanted to add this final page was to show you we can use a page that's the same size as the front cover, but it will fit. So now as we open it, take a little bit of folding back and forward. So it'll take a little bit of time to keep folding these pages until they're happy. But then as we open our book, we've got all our little sections. So here we've got our notes. So here we could actually put some little, I've got some little notelet cards here that I've made. So I tell you, let's take 3 out. We don't want them too little thick. And I've got these tied together with a little bit of twine. So let's pop that on. I'm going to use my clip tool just to clip these into place so that they're held in, so that they can be used, but they're not necessarily having to be, let's get it in the right place. So they're held in. Let's get one right. There we go. So we've got now some little notelet cards held in. What we can also do is to put some sections on. So I want to show you that. So here's a piece again of scrap that I've cut to size. And all I've done is I've used the actual piece. I've used the die in the middle and it gives me 2 pieces. So I'm just simply going to take a little bit of ink and again just ink this edge just so it gets a nice sort of aged look, and it just gives it a finished edge rather than a raw die cut edge. And the great thing is by using the dies you've actually got this beautiful impression line in there. So we've got those. Simply going to take a little bit of foam tape. So let's add on. I'm going to add this section on here to give us a little pocket. Don't want that too deep, so a little bit of foam tape onto here. Just to create a little bit of depth so that we work as a pocket. And I find this a lot easier than using other sections of mount board or anything. So we'll just take that off. And we'll marry that up to this page here. Get that on neatly, and then we can tuck in our little notelet cards. And pop in our little notelet cards. We could actually pop in a little matching tag, and of course there's plenty of space because of the spine. So as we open this, you can see we've got our first page, which may have nothing. We've then got some little notelets held there. Again, nothing. We move forward, and our last page got some little notelet cards, a little tag, and again we've still got space. So there's space everywhere, and again you could take more ribbon to decorate off that section, which adds a little bit more strength. Or you could trim more paper to size to fit that, as Leslie did in hers. It gives you some fab ideas to do it. And because we've kept that depth, you could add another piece in here with the foam tape again to give you another pocket, because you've got quite a lot of depth. So when that book closes, we can see it closes, it works from the top. We can put a little bit of ribbon on to keep it closed, or a little magnetic clasp, but we've got our book with our different page sections. And if you want to, as I said, you can adhere these into the back to keep them stable if you want to do that, and they will then turn the corner, or as I've done, just leave it loose. But it's simply a case of scoring a piece of paper at every 1/4 of an inch or every centimetre and gluing it together so that eventually you get this beautiful closing book with all the pages in.